Welcome to Second Take, the show that takes a look at the issues behind the news. The entire fleet of Boeing 787 Dreamliners in service has been grounded amid safety concerns. Keith Campbell joins me to discuss the implications of this. Welcome, Keith. What caused the grounding of the Boeing 787?
Well, there were a series of incidents that happened in the first half of January. These included a fuel leak, cracks found in the windscreen of an aircraft, brake problems on another aircraft. But the events that have caused the greatest concern were a battery explosion and an overheated battery on two different aircraft. All these incidents I've mentioned happened on Boeing 787s operated by two Japanese airlines, All Nippon Airways and Japan Airlines, who were the first two customers for the aircraft. So their aircraft have been serviced longer than anyone else's. Now, the concern is that these events involving the batteries could have triggered fires. Fires on an aircraft are absolutely devastating. They are absolute nightmare scenario and could lead to the loss of an aircraft and all aboard it. So it was a matter of very grave concern, and that is why the aircraft have been grounded. The initial grounding was ordered by the Federal Aviation Administration in the United States, and then that was followed by other regulatory agencies around the world. In some cases, including with Japan Airlines and All Nippon Airways, airlines grounded the planes voluntarily before the regulators acted.
And what is being done?
Well, there is a thorough investigation underway. The Japan Transport Safety Board, the Federal Aviation Administration, the United States National Transportation Safety Board are all involved in investigations of what went wrong and what has to be done to fix the problem. Now, the central thing is the batteries involved are lithium-ion batteries. These are much lighter and much more energy intensive than more conventional nickel-cadmium batteries. Lithium-ion batteries provide very many advantages indeed, but they can on occasion go on fire. And as I said earlier, you do not want to fire on an aircraft in the air. And we've been very lucky, by the way, because the battery explosion happened on that aircraft after it landed. The overheated battery on the other aircraft spilled electrolytes, but the aircraft was able to divert and land before anything more serious might have eventuated. So we've been very lucky in this. But at this moment, it's not entirely clear what is causing these problems. The battery manufacturer is being investigated. That's a Japanese company called GS Yuasa. The producer of the chargers for the batteries is also being investigated. That's a US-based company called Securaplane. And the Boeing production line is being investigated. There's to find out if there's a design problem, an integration problem, a quality assurance problem. The thing is, the 787 is a revolutionary airplane. Everyone knows that it's made unprecedented levels of use of composite materials in its construction, but it's also made unprecedented use of electricity. It is the most electric commercial aircraft ever designed, built or flown. Now, traditionally on aircraft, you use hydraulics, for example, to operate the braking systems. You use pneumatic systems called bleed air, for example, for de-icing. That is the de-icing of the wings and tail. Make use of hot air that's taken from the engines and conveyed by piping to the appropriate places on the wings. This is called bleed air. Now, all this takes up volume, all this adds weight. Boeing replaced these hydraulic and other systems on the Dreamliner with electrical systems. So Boeing is very heavily dependent on the batteries to provide these essential services. And if the batteries have to be replaced by batteries of a different type, that has very serious weight and volume implications. But at the present moment, it's still not known exactly what the problem is, if there's one problem or more than one problem with these batteries. The Japanese have sent the battery that overheated to their space agency for computer tomography scans, CT scans, to try and work out what went wrong in that case. We're still waiting. But until the regulatory authorities are convinced the batteries are safe, then the plane stays grounded.
Is this likely to affect other new aircraft developments, such as the Airbus A350?
Well, the short answer is we can't be certain one way or the other. Lithium-ion batteries have been coming into use in aircraft in recent years. The Airbus A380 Super Jumbo Jet uses some, but not many. They're used for the lighting system. The A350 will make vastly greater use of lithium-ion batteries than the A380 did, but its use will be very different to that of the Boeing 787. Though the A350 is also a very composite aircraft, it actually makes slightly more use of composites than the 787. It is in many ways also a more conservative design. And Airbus have not attempted to make it an electric jet. They have retained hydraulics for braking, conventional bleed air system for de-icing and so on. So they also apparently are putting more batteries on the aircraft so that the energy drain from each battery will be less than in the case of the 787. So this means that the A350 has a totally different electrical architecture. Whether this means that the problems that happened on the 787 will not happen on A350, nobody yet knows, because we're not yet certain what the problem with the batteries on the 787 are. Airbus also makes use of a different manufacturer. As I said, the 787 uses a Japanese manufacturer. Airbus has sources batteries from a French manufacturer. Another project, not civil, military, is the Embraer KC-390 tanker transport aircraft, which will also make extensive use of lithium-ion batteries. Again, it's far too early to say what the impact would be, and of course the risk-reward calculus with military aircraft is totally different to that of civil aircraft. Perhaps ironically, the Brazilian plane will make use of lithium-ion batteries sourced from an American company. So there are at least 3 manufacturers out there who can produce these batteries for aircraft, and we're going to have to wait and see whether this is a problem that is found in all such batteries used in aircraft, or if it's peculiar to the batteries from the Japanese company, or if it's peculiar to the particular and unique use on the Boeing 787, or whether it's just sheer bad luck.
Thank you. That's the Second Take show for this week. Thank you for watching, and join us again next time for more news analysis.